scene that really caught my eye. So, as some people may have known, that the show is about a doctor who comes to work at a nice hospital, and as he's in the airport, something amazing happens. Is that he is a great doctor and he has all of these qualifications. So, as he's walking through the airport, something tragic happens. That what happens is someone becomes very sick, and someone becomes in need of a doctor. Now, this doctor did not know who this man was. He didn't know who this person was, but he decided to help him. And what really struck me is that even though this man had a great need to be in the hospital, he decided to be the hospital for someone. So, as I was watching this show, I said, this is really interesting. But then I realized that this show, when the first thing that thought in my mind was Jesus. Because whenever we are in need, whenever we have something that we need to have to take care of, Jesus is always there. We realize that as we look at Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the four Gospels show us the greatest doctor of all time. And his name is Jesus Christ.
Yep.
We understand that he is the medicine that heals the world. That many people try to talk about doctors and different healers and different people that can heal. But the greatest person that can heal is Jesus. He is the greatest doctor who ever came to heal the sickness of the world. In fact, even doctors do not know how healing takes place in our bodies. But we serve a God who knows how to heal our heavy hearts. We need a miracle in everyday life. A miracle is an unexpected event and a divine intervention. To experience the healing power of God, you need faith in Jesus. Jesus calls us to move toward our pain so that he can transform it. A lot of times, many people have pain and sickness and they don't know who to go to. But I'm so glad that we can call on the name of Jesus. As we call on Jesus, something begins to happen. He's the one that can fix our pain when we lost a loved one. The one that heals our pain when we had rejection. Jesus is a healer. In Matthew 4:23 it said, and Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in the synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing every disease and infirmity among the people. And so his fame spread throughout all Syria, and they brought to him all who were sick, afflicted with diseases, pains, and demonic epilepsies, and paralytics, and he healed them. Jesus, what I love about God is that even when people are dealing with whatever sickness or pain, God is able to reach down where they are and bring them up.
Yes.
We look and we see as life goes along, many people are trying to find solutions, and many people are trying to figure out who is going to help us, but they don't know that Jesus is the only one that can help them. It is not different people that can help you. Many people try to find help where there is no help. But we understand in Scripture says, I will look to the hills, from which cometh my help. All of my help comes from the Lord. Now, here in John's Gospel, the Gospel of John is a very powerful Gospel. The Gospel of John gives us a Jesus that is very different from Matthew, Mark, and Luke. We see that in John chapter 20, verse 31, it says, and many other signs truly did Jesus in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in this book. Verse 31, but these are written that you may believe in Jesus the Christ, the Son of God, believing that you have life through his name. His name is so powerful. Here in John chapter 5, we realize that Jesus is presented as the good doctor. You see, what I love about God is that he takes us from where we are and brings us to where we need to be. I'm going to say that again. Jesus takes us from where we are, where we were before, and then he brings us to where we need to be. Only God is able to do this. He's the only one that can take us from where we were before. We were down in our problems, down in our sickness, and he brings us to healing. As we look in this verse, we realize that this man had been at this place for 38 years. This man is not only just a man, but he's also a realization of many of us today. Many of us have been sitting in our places of despair. Many of us have been sitting in our places of depression. Many of us have been placed in a sitting of stress, but we are there because we don't find a solution. This man has been sick for a very long time. Now, many people are trying to figure out 38 years. You see, we realize that even his sickness was longer than the life of Jesus on earth. This man is sitting in his sickness. We realize that this man had an infirmity. The word infirmity means that he had a weakness and a frailness that prevented him from walking as other men. We realize that this man who's been laying here for 38 years is also a picture of a sinner. A sinner is one who does not know what to do. He is lost and he is separated from God by his sins. Isaiah 59 verse 2 says, "But your iniquities have separated you between you and your God. Your sins had hid his face from you, and that he will not hear." Romans 3:23 says, "For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God." No matter where the sinner is, he is lost. This sinner can have millions of dollars. This sinner can own property, but he is still lost. The scripture says, "What profit a man to gain the whole world, but lose his soul?" What is the point of having popularity, but not be in his presence? What is the point of having all of these earthly things and having all of the money and all of the people around you, but yet you are still lost? The sinner may put on a good show and have the appearance of being right with God, but God knows the sinner is still dead until he has a taste of life. And this life is in Jesus Christ. Many people feel that their lives are going along well and they need nothing. But yet the sinner does not know that Jesus is the one that can heal them. We realize that when we die with Christ, it is a terrible thing. Many people go around thinking that they don't need any help, and many people walk around thinking that their lives is okay. But what they do not realize is that they have adjusted to being blind and in deaf. Psalm 9:17 says, "The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forgot God." So we realize this man is at the pool, and he is sitting there. But not only is he sitting there, he's also in his paralyzed state. Not only is his body paralyzed, but his mind is paralyzed. Have we ever met people, they've been paralyzed even in their mind? They let their problems, they let their burdens paralyze them. They've been stuck in a paralyzed place. The question I have for you is, have you ever been paralyzed in your mind? Have you let something from the past bother you and paralyze you so much that you can't even move forward in life? One of the things that is paralyzed is unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is something that paralyzes us from moving forward into life. Is that sometimes we allow things to hinder us from God blessing us. Now this was a disappointed man. He goes and says, when Jesus says, "Do you want to be healed?" Now Jesus did not ask him how long he's been sick. Jesus did not ask him that question, but he said, "Do you want to be healed?" Or another question was, "Do you want to be made whole?"
Yes.
Just as Jesus is asking this question, he's asking you this question: do you want to be made whole? Now, many of us can say, we can be stuck in our problems and keep staying there and keep burdening and keep complaining and complaining and complaining every single day. But God is asking you this morning, do you want to be made whole? Do you want to let go of the past and move forward? Now, we realize that this man is trying to say many things, but it's not working for him. He's tried different works, he's tried religion, he tried giving, and he tried to do anything, but it still did not help him. As we look in the scripture, we realize that this man did not look for Jesus, but Jesus looked for him. Many of us have been doing our own thing. Many of us have been looking for everyone else. but we have not looked for Jesus. And until we look to Jesus, things will not begin to have positivity in our lives. But we realize that Jesus is here talking to this man. Now he goes to this man where he is, and he brings him to where God is. Now we understand that many of us, when we get sick, we go to the hospital. But Jesus, who is the hospital, comes to this sick man. And as he comes to him, he asks him, do you want to be made whole? Do you want to be healed? Many people don't believe in healing anymore. Many people think that healing is just a myth, or healing is just something that's in scripture. But God is even still healing even now.
Amen.
You see, this man is listening to Jesus talk to him. And Jesus says to him, do you want to be healed? Now, even though Jesus asked this question to this man did not understand why Jesus asked him this. You see, Jesus already had the power to heal him. Jesus already knew what he could do. But he had to realize that man had to realize who he was talking to. He did not understand the power of Jesus. So we realize that in the scripture, this man said, sir, I have no one to put me into the pool. He says, every time it is stirred up, someone goes before me. So instead of him saying, yes, God, I accept your healing, he gives him a complaint. You see, but the problem with this man is that he is pool focused, but he's not God focused. He's so focused on trying to do what he wants to do. But whenever we try to do things our way, whenever we try to do things our mentality, when we want it, we stop from God blessing us. Many of us have tried to compare ourselves to other people. And we say, I want what this person has, and I want what that person has. But that is not for you. But what God has for you will be for you. It may not come right now, it may not come tomorrow, but it will come in his timing. So we realize that this man is not alone. Is that this man is surrounded by people who are paralyzed and sick themselves. This man is not just the only one that is sick. But Jesus comes to this sick man. And despite everybody that's around him, I know many people wondering, why did Jesus come to this one man? Out of everyone that has come around, because Jesus showed him something called grace. You see, God gave him grace. Now, as this man is here, Jesus comes to him. You see, what I'm glad about this morning is that even though everybody else may be sick, everybody else has problems, he came to me and said, do you want to be healed? I understand that we have sickness, but do you want to be healed? Do you have the ability to trust in a God that can heal you? Not only heal you physically, but also emotionally. There's some stories of us that maybe we've heard words from people that have destroyed us, and we kept feeling broken, but we hid our brokenness. Many of us have felt this bang of the people trying to tear us down, but God says, do you want to be healed? Another question that Jesus says, do you want to let it go? Do you want to let go of the burden that's been holding you down? Do you want to let go of the thing that's been pushing you down? But do you want to move forward? Now we realize that God has showed him grace. We realize that grace gives us what we don't deserve. And we realize mercy holds back what we do deserve. I'm going to say that again. Grace gives us what we don't deserve. And mercy holds back what we do deserve. I thank God for his grace and mercy. His mercy and his grace carried us. Now, we realize that Jesus showed his care to this man. And as he shows care to this man is not used to someone caring for him. We live in a time where people think that they have the problems already solved, but God is the problem solver. Yet Jesus reached out to this man. He looked beyond his faults. He looked beyond his failures and looked beyond his sin. Romans 5:8 says, but God commands his love towards us. And yet we were sinners. Christ died for us. We understand that Jesus died for us. He did not die for the up and up, but he died for the down and down. He died for the ones who was down and they didn't know what to do, but God still loved them. When people walk away from you, God can still show you love. Yes. And then something began to happen. This man was at the pool. And you see, this man made a mistake like everyone else. He kept giving Jesus excuses. But even today, Jesus comes to the lost sinner and makes an offer of salvation. This good doctor does not say, where are you here? What's going on? But he says, I'm here to help you. We realize that Jesus is the one that comes to help and to save. All through his life on earth, we realize that Jesus always came to help those in need. He came to heal the sick. He came to raise the dead. He came to love those who felt no love. He came to give hope where people felt hopeless. Then Jesus tells this man to take up his bed and walk. Despite where this man is, Jesus tells him to get up. Now, as we see that this man is here, Jesus tells him to get up. Now, many people will say, how is this possible? But whenever God speaks, something begins to move. Whenever God speaks, things begin to happen. All we need is one word from the Lord. And as we hear this one word from the Lord, things begin to happen. Things begin to change. What seemed impossible now becomes possible because God gave a word. Have you ever received a promise from the Lord and you felt like it was not going to happen, but then things begin to shift? Yeah. We realize that the promise that God gave is still good. Come on. Many of us right now have felt like this man and said, I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know what to do. But God says, take up your bed and walk. Yeah. No matter where you are, God says, take up your bed and walk. Yeah. Whether you've been lost for so many years, whether you felt down, whether you felt like no one else to do, God says, I love you. Yeah. You see, but what God does is that he goes all the way down to where you are. Yeah. And then he pulls you by the hand and brings you up. You see, what I love about God is that he didn't see me as a broken person. Yeah. He didn't see me as a sinner. He didn't see me as someone, but he saw me as someone in need. Someone needs the Lord this morning. Someone needs his precious blood. Someone needs his grace and mercy. Someone in the room says, God, I thank you. Yeah. I thank you that you saw me as a restored person. Yeah. You saw me as a healed person. Yeah. You saw me as someone who needed help. And you said, take up your bed and walk. Is there anybody here that says, God, I thank you for picking me up? God, I thank you for bringing me up. God, I thank you. Is there anybody here that can say, God, you've been so good to me. God, you did not see me where I was, but you picked me up. Is there someone here who says, God, I need you to pick me up? When people tore me down, when people said I was nothing, when people said I was nothing, you said I was something. God, I thank you. God, I give you praise. God, I worship you for saying I'm somebody. I'm so glad that Jesus got me up. I'm so glad that when people said I was nothing, you said I was something. When people says walk. And once this begins to happen, God says take up your bed and walk. Jesus is telling you this morning to take up your bed and walk. No matter where you are. God is saying take up your bed and walk. Walk into your purpose. Walk into what God has for you. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, walk by faith and not by sight.
Come on.
Is there anybody here this morning that can say, God, I thank you. I thank you for taking me higher. God, I thank you for taking me to another level. You didn't let me stay where I was, but you decided to take me to another place where you're going where I have not seen or going where ears have not heard. Somebody needs the Lord to help them where they are. No matter what you go through, you can say, Father, I stretch my hand to thee. No other help I know is how to draw me myself from thee. Wherever shall I go? How do you know that this is going to happen? Weeping may endure for night, but joy comes in the morning. I'm so glad that joy comes in the morning. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, good morning. Good morning. It's a new day. It's a new season. God is able to bring you into the season. No matter where you are, God will be there. Somebody needs to understand, no matter where things, how it looks, God will. You will turn your life around. Somebody needs to be encouraged. No matter where you've been sitting, no matter how you look, I may be tired today, but God is going to bring me up when He says, take up your bed and walk. I'm walking into my season. I'm walking into my purpose. I'm walking into what God has for me. Somebody get your shoes out and begin to walk in your season. Walk to where God wants to take you to. Walk into that new promotion. Walk into that new job. Walk into where God has for you. If you believe it, say that. Say that. Jesus says, take up your bed and walk. Many of you have been at the pool for too long. 2016, you've been at the pool. 2017, you've been at the pool. 2018, you've been at the pool. But God says this morning, take up your bed and walk. And as Jesus says this even to you, the Lord is even saying, as you take up your bed and walk, God said, if you trust in me, I will take you where you need to go. You've been trying to find everyone else to help you. But God said, trust in me. He is the good doctor that never lost a patient. He is the good doctor that heals your heart. He is the good doctor that heals you. So God, this morning, we worship you, Lord. Oh, we worship you, Lord, for being the good doctor. We worship you, Lord. We praise you, Lord, that you didn't just leave us by the wayside, but you picked us up again. Oh, we thank you, God. We bask in your presence this morning. We lift our hands to you, Lord. And we say thank you. We thank you, Lord, for always loving us. Father, in the name of Jesus, let someone here this morning know that you are the God that can pick them up again. Let them have faith in you, God. Let them have trust in you, Lord. Let them understand that even when things look crazy, they can trust in you. They can love in you. God, we're sorry, God, for trying to go everywhere else to find healing, but we know, God, that you are a healer. You are a deliverer. You are a redeemer. You are a way maker. So God, we say thank you. Heal us right now, God. Heal us right now, God. We thank God for your healing, God. Heal our minds, God. Heal our hearts, Lord. Lord, whatever word that's been said to us, even when we was a child, God, healing right now. We bind sickness right now.
God bless you, my friend. I want to thank you so much for watching this video. I pray that a word was spoken that transforms and changes your life. Please stay connected with us, www.globalfirenow.com. I'd love to hear from you. Expect greater.